Okay, so we are just setting things up here, so bear with me. Hopefully we'll get the volume sorted out tonight so it behaves itself a little bit better than it has done just recently. Here we go. Just putting up the live stream on the second screen and killing the volume on it. Okay. So in Flight Simulator, let's go and make sure we've got the correct control configuration. We need the Twin Otter. There we go. Apply, go back, resume. Let's just make sure everything's working before we even think about taking off. So we've got both sticks for the throttle. Each one independently works correctly. Excellent. We can go to reverse if we need to. That works perfectly. Excellent. We can modify the propeller condition. We can switch the fuel on and off. Excellent. Okay, so I think we're more or less ready to go. So we will move the the propellers forwards a little bit, and we start thinking about getting this airplane going. We need to put some fuel in it. This is going to be a long flight. That said, we've got quite a few different runways to contend with, so some of them aren't very easy runways, so we'll see how we go. I'm just going to check the volume levels. So I'm quite quiet by the look of it, but hopefully that'll be okay. So yeah, we need to wait and see what happens with the flight simulator with how loud it is. I'll correct that as we go. I'm just aware that the Twin Otter is incredibly noisy. Okay, so get rid of the how we're doing for noise. I'll just turn that down a bit so it's not too loud. Okay, so that's first engine running, so let's just go and have a look at that so we can see it looking good. Gauges are looking good as well, so we go for the left engine. While that's happening, let's get some lights sorted out. So anti-collision position, seatbelt light would be good. No smoking, obviously. We're in Australia, Tasmania, sorry, so we're not going to be expecting icing conditions, so let's get back down here. Okay, we're pretty much good to go. So we need to let's get out of here. Make sure I've got free movement. Let's have a look outside, make sure we're looking good. Elevators, rudder, ailerons, flaps are working. Excellent. So flaps to takeoff position. Get the mouse out of the way. Okay, we'll have a little look at the map in a few moments. Let's just get rid of this out of the way. Get rid of that out of the way. Okay, so we're looking at a 7 knot wind from the south, so we're looking for the north runway really then. So let's go and turn this way. So we're at Launceston Airfield in the middle of Tasmania, and we're going to go airport hopping, which should be fun. I won't pretend to be used to this, so if anybody could let me know in the chat whether my voice level is okay, because I really can't tell, versus the sound of the engine. You can hear me over it, yeah? So we're just taxiing down. I have not configured the wheel brakes, so we're just going to get straight on the runway and then I'm going to go and configure that. I've just realised I've missed it, so bear with me a moment. I've just reconfigured my joystick earlier this evening, so I've got a few things missing. Autopilot, search by pilot. Search by joystick button 1 has nothing mapped, so let's go search by name. Brakes. Start scanning. Button 1. Action type on press, on release, on press. So yeah. Button 1. Validate. Apply. Go back. Resume. That's better. Okay. Off to the races. So keep an eye on the pitch up there. We need to pull it back to about 80%. And we're looking good. So we'll zoom back out of here. Our first heading today is 185 degrees to Longdown Airport. Yankee Lima Golf Delta. 185. So we'll just look down a little bit so we can see the compass. We've also got the binnacle compass. Okay, So you can see us progressing across the map now. Excellent. Let's just trim the aircraft out slightly. So it's an early morning flight around Tasmania, and we'll get as far as we do basically. I've got the flight plan for the whole of Tasmania, but we'll see how we go. Let's have a look from outside. Right, this will be the way to check the sound. So you can hear me over it, okay? Yeah. So it should be good. It's incredibly noisy. In fact, I'm going to change things around a bit here. Okay, so now I've got to have headphones on, so my head's not going to completely overheat doing this. Okay, so looking at the wind, it's negligible. We can really pick our runway at Longdown. So we'll go for runway 27. Okay, so our biggest concern is finding the airfield to begin with. So if we have to circle any of the airfields, we will. We're not in a mad hurry. We can always refuel along the way if we run out. It's not a major problem. So we'll look outside. Just a bit concerned about the pneumatic low pressure keeps coming up. But not too worried. Let's go and have a look at the front. So is this the airfield directly below us in this field here? Yeah, it's the dirt strip. So we will go for this strip here. So we'll circle round. That is the airfield and a half, isn't it? So we're going to lean over the front to see what we're doing. And we'll probably go a bit telephoto. Not telephoto, wide angle. So we can see further around the corner easily. That's not a runway. Where is the runway? Oh, there it is. Okay, we're going round. This is always the problem with I have to turn the volume up a little bit so I can hear it. Okay, so our shadow's just passed over the runway apron. We can follow this line in the field, it helps us. Still nearly missed it then. Here it is. It's not marked very well, is it? Hey, flaps up. And we're away. So hopefully they're not all going to be so difficult to find. So next leg of our journey is 10 miles, 121 degrees. This way. So let's have a look at the map. So we can come in directly on runway, which one is that? 13. It should be fairly straightforward then. So hopefully we'll see it from a little way out this time and not have such a struggle. So if we keep an eye out for it, we're looking for runway 13, which again, it's going to be a grass runway. Valley Field Airport, Yankee Victor Alpha Foxtrot. We're on live weather, by the way. This is live as it looks in Tasmania this morning. Or at least I think it should be. Let's just go and check the weather. Live weather. Live time. Yep, so it's real time. It's very early in the morning in Tasmania. Okay, let's have a look at the map. There's the field. At least we can see it this time. So slowly descend as we line up with the runway as well, just so we don't have any issues at the last moment. I never thought I should have done a circle of Launceston before we left, because it's a really nicely modelled airport. Beautiful part of the world, isn't it? Okay, we're just coming in then to Valleyfield Airport. We're not going to need the whole of the runway. We're in a Twin Otter after all. We can stop on a sixpence if we really want to. Coming in with quite a low level of flaps, we're just going to do a touch and go racing off.
500. Seat brake. Seat brake. Seat brake. Minimums. Pull up. 100. Seat brake.
I'm just going to clear the ridge of where the road crosses the runway,
30.
in case it's unstable there.
Flaps. 20. Too low. Flaps. 10.
There we go. Full throttle. Flaps up. And away we go again. We live to fight another day. I'm just going to go and get rid of a spammer. Remove. Okay. So we continue on, same direction, 14 miles to Campbelltown Airport, Yankee Charlie Alpha Echo. Cut the engines back to about 80%. Looks amazing out there, doesn't it? Just keeping an eye on the vertical speed, trimming the aeroplane for level flight. Flaps are up. Okay, let's have a quick look at the map. So we're cutting across to come in runway 17 at Campbelltown Airport. So we'll probably want to go about 110 degrees ideally. So let's turn a few more degrees to the right. It's a shame the default position just cuts the compass on the Nav1 instrument out of view, because it's the easiest one to read. Okay, getting there. As soon as we get a half decent length leg, I'm going to go and nip off and make a coffee. So let's have a look at see when that will be. Once we leave Woodbury, I'll set autopilot. And we go Swansea, friendly beaches, and then way up the coast to St Helens. So these first few legs are quite short. After this, it will get a lot more interesting. We get to do some sightseeing and fly along the beaches. Should be good. So up to 3,500 feet. The Twin Otter climbs amazingly well. It's cutting the engines back, fall back down. So we're looking for a runway across our field. It runs across our path. Is it down here? No, it's further to the right. Can we find the runway? That's the question. Let's look at some scenery. See what scenery features are near it. So there's a cross in the road. There's the Campbell town, which we're about to fly over. It's just the other side. So almost away from us. I thought it might be there, but I don't think that's the right angle. It's more directly away from us. So we're heading directly for it. Where are you, runway? It's not it there, is it? No, it's still at an angle to us. It may just be a patch of mowed field. It may be this field that's just coming. Let's get to the outside view, see if we can see it easily. Is this it? I think it might be. Because that's an aeroplane on the ground down there. No, it's direct. No, it's ahead of us. This is a real tricky one to find, isn't it? Ah, here we go. Now that's been cut short for use as a runway. But I'm expecting it to go from left to right in front of us. That's definitely been cut for use as an airfield. Is this it here? Make no sense. I'm right on top of it. Where has the airfield gone? Unless they're using this, aren't they? Yeah. Okay. At least we have some good reference. So it's just a dirt runway. Okay. At least we have some reference to fly from. We're going to loop round and come directly in for the touch and go. Okay, so we want to land about 170, wasn't it? So loop it round gently. Plane turns quite quickly.
Banking. Banking. Banking.
Go for 20 degrees.
Banking.
And there's the runway.
Minimums. Minimums. 100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
See, as soon as we put any power down, the lift from the wings just pulls us straight back into the air. It's good fun flying the Otter. Okay, so pull the flaps up. Next leg, 205 degrees, 11 miles. So we just go by the binnacle compass to do this. The funny thing about a Twin Otter is it's so unaerodynamic that as soon as you come off the power, it just slows down like somebody's throwing a parachute out of the back.
Too low. Terrain. Too low. Terrain.
Not that low.
Too low. Terrain.
It's a shame you can't turn that off, isn't it? It should go to 1500 feet, which should shut it up. Okay, we're just coming up to 1500 feet. And let's have a look. How are we doing? Yeah, we're on our way. So the next airfield is Tunbridge Airport, Yankee Tango Uniform November. So basically, once you get the Twin Otter up and running, it's very, very forgiving and easy to fly. It's not difficult at all. Something I'm thinking about doing though is putting some null zone on the rudder, and maybe it's just a bit twitchy in this aircraft. So to do that, we can go into control options. And we can go to sensitivity on the A320 pilot stick. So we've got the rudder axis here. It's a bit twitchy, even though I've cleaned it. Look, the joystick is twitching again really badly. They're really badly built, these Taskmaster sticks. Stunning really that they've got away with it. I mean look, it's all over the place. So I'm going to I really don't want to put too much sensitivity on it. I guess what we could do, put 5% on the null zone and turn the reactivity down so it isn't quite as sharp on the inputs. Apply and save, resume. Yeah, it's still a bit wiggly, but it's not as bad as it was. So 140 knots. This thing can shift when it needs to, can't it?
Terrain. Terrain. Terrain.
Okay, so we can go for runway 31 by the look of it. So let's have a look, see if there are any features. There is a road that we can follow in. Okay, so we are approaching shortly a road that we will follow into the airfield. So just coming over the top of this hill. You can see the hills on the map. Over some water at the moment. There's a few bits of water, they're not the same shape as the map though. They've obviously changed over time. So there's the road coming along on the other side of these hills. We should be able to follow it into the so let's cut back the throttle, bleed some of this speed off, and go for flaps. 20 degrees. So we're looking for runways again. It's going to be our preoccupation, isn't it? Doing this bush flying. So at the moment we're looking for the road that leads to the airport, essentially. Well, I say airport, area of cut grass where we can land an aeroplane. So we should see it out to our right anytime soon. Was that a road or was that the water? It might be the water that I was thinking of. So we're about to cross, here's the road. You can see it directly below us now. So if we follow it in, we should see a runway. Is that the runway there? I think it might be. Yeah, there's like a mown area here as well. Okay. Whoops, pressed the button I didn't mean to press. 500. In between the trees, I guess.
Minimums. 100. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
And we're down. Full throttle. Look at the lift on this once you open the engines. It's nuts, isn't it? Okay. The next heading of our journey, 116 degrees to Woodbury Airfield, Yankee Whiskey Oscar Delta.
Banking.
116 degrees we need.
Banking.
Just coming around to 90. And 100 degrees. And it should be about there. So So we're just keeping an eye on the vertical speed. Make sure nothing untoward happens. We're accelerating all the time, so the vertical speed is coming back to us because we're obviously gaining lift with the speed. Okay, so we're on our way to Woodbury. We're going to crisscross though because we need to deal with the wind. So we're going to turn about 40 degrees across the path that we want it to be on. To give us half a chance of using the runway and not having an accident. So we're just going to crisscross and then come in runway 01. Hopefully that makes sense. So this is where we start playing our usual game of find the runway. Is that it in the field? That would be far too easy, wouldn't it? Yeah, it's further away than that. If only they had giant signposts saying, here's the runway. Anyone sees a runway? Shout. I think this might be it, over here, behind this hill. Looks vaguely... it has that scraped feel to the earth. So it's going to be off the left wing any moment. No, it's not that then. Okay, must be that. That is the runway. It's a bit of a nightmarish approach, isn't it?
Banking. Banking. Banking.
Just have a look at it from here.
Banking.
I don't see a runway.
Sync rate.
Let's just check that against the GPS.
Sync rate.
No, it's to our left.
Banking.
Is that it right in the middle of that field?
Banking.
That's just not marked at
Sync
all.
rate. 500. Sync rate.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it?
Hold up.
It's the mark you can see in...
Hold up. Minimums. Minimums. 100. Hold up. 50. 30.
That's the least runway-ish runway I think I've ever seen. That literally was just a patch of grass. Okay. Flaps up. And let's have a look at next leg. This is the one where we were going to stick the autopilot on, wasn't it? 66 degrees for 28 miles. So let's get the aircraft turned and then we'll put the autopilot on. More or less right. Okay, so we want altitude hold mode. We are at 1700 feet now. We'll go for 2000 feet and we'll engage the autopilot. And we'll put heading hold mode on, but we haven't configured the heading, so we're going to have to get rid of the yoke out of the way for the moment. Whoa! Where do we get rid of the yoke? There it is. backside. Really is. The Sobo took away the acceleration on the knobs on the cockpit, so you can't move them quickly anymore. Which way's the wind? So headwind. Okay, so we can go slightly more than 66 to get back on track. We'll go for 70. We're holding 2,500 feet, and we can pull the engines back now to just cruise along. I'm just going to go up to 3,000 just to avoid these hills that are coming. So we need to press vertical speed. That's gone wrong. Speed. Right. Yeah, that runway wasn't great, was it? I'm just reading some of the comments from Ting Tong John over there. The scenery is amazing though. The whole of Tasmania is beautiful scenery. Okay, so while we're flying along, I'm going to run and make a quick coffee. I'll be back in time to land at Swansea. I'm going to leave this with a nice camera angle. Right, we're back. Let's go and have a look at the map and see where we are. Okay, we've still got quite a way to go. We're going to go runway 3. So we're going to turn across the course. So to do that, all we need to do is move the heading bug. So we go for 90 degrees. Ting Tong John has asked what other platforms I'm on. I'm on Twitter as John Beckett, JONBECKETT. I'll post it into the comments of the channel. If you hang on a second, I'll just grab a second keyboard for this other laptop. I've got a wireless keyboard here, which is very useful. I just need to switch it on. So, Twitter, also Facebook, facebook.com/JohnBeckett. You can see the theme here. I've managed to get my name everywhere. And Instagram. Instant messaging. I'm on Telegram, Signal. Whoa, clouds. Sorry, I just noticed the cloud. So I need to be wary of that. Let's have a look at the map. Hopefully that's not going to get in the way of our arrival. That's not ideal, especially in this aeroplane. You suddenly start thinking through, okay, what do you do if you lose visibility on a VFR flight? You either climb, which would be like, I guess, the military way, or descend, which would be the non-military way. We're fine. Trying to think what other platforms I'm on. I've been messing around with blogging. I'm on WordPress, but I'm not sure many people would be interested in me blathering on about rubbish all the time. I used to have, well, I still got a Medium account. I experimented with writing for money when we went into lockdown. So yeah, I could post that, I guess. But I've demonetized Medium because it was just a waste of time, really. So let's go to, if you want to read the Medium articles without any kind of commercial rubbish on them, there's johnbeckett.github.io, because I republished all the articles on a GitHub Pages account, which is free, just to avoid the machinations of GitHub, really. Of Medium, sorry. Okay, let's have a look at that map. Okay, we've overshot, so that's fine. So off the autopilot.
Banking.
So can we see the runway down there? Yes, we can. It's directly below us over there. So we're just going to circle to descend. Not very good at multitasking, I'm afraid. Okay, so we'll start dropping flaps in a moment. Ideally we want to get back to 100 knots before we drop flaps.
Banking.
So if we just circle, that will get us to the correct kind of speed. Okay, going to 10 degrees on the flaps. 20 degrees on the flaps. And this should line us up nicely. Famous last words. I'm looking to see where the preferred area is. It's the grass to the left, isn't it? It seems to have been mown.
Sink free. Better bumps. Better bumps.
Or is it? No, it's this side. I'm going to scare everybody in the hut to death.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Okay. Start raising the flaps. Keep the nose fairly level. Get the airspeed back. Yeah, I've not actually spoken much about flight simulation on Twitter, really, or any of the other platforms. I've kind of been messing around with YouTube as an end to itself. There's not been much overlap with anything else I do, because I work as a software developer in the daytime. So that joystick's getting worse. It was perfect when I first put lubricant in it. And it's got worse and worse and worse ever since. Okay, so we're climbing out there, which is fine. We're flying onto friendly beaches, which is out on the coast. So looking at the wind, there's no wind to speak of, so we don't need to worry. We can land whichever way makes sense, so we may as well come in over the beach. So we'll head for the ocean. Look at it wiggling around. I'm just going to go and see if I can put some more null zone on the rudder. It's absolutely insane. So anybody buys one of these joysticks, remember I told you how bad they are. I mean, watch. Look at that. All I'm doing is putting a tiny amount of left pressure on, and it's going all over the place. But the stupid thing is, if you wrench it either way, it behaves itself. Sort of. It still glitches all over the place, but... So let's go and see if we can... 64? So level it out even more. Maybe 70. All we're doing with the sensitivity is flattening out the curve. I mean, look, that glitch was enormous, wasn't it? I wonder if I report it to Thrustmaster, if they will replace the stick. I mean, we've almost removed rudder input now to stop it from doing that to us. it's made it a lot better. Okay. Let's have a look at the map and see where we are. I'm just heading across. What's this place called? The Malting Lagoon Game Reserve. I guess as soon as we get away from the coast, we'll leave some of this cloud behind, which will be quite useful. Unfortunately, we're going to be on the coast for the next few hundred miles. Kind of on purpose, because most of the airfields, if we zoom out on the flight plan, most of the airfields are right the way around the outside of Tasmania. We're not going to do the whole flight today. I'll probably get as far as Georgetown today. So you can see we're getting near to friendly beaches. And you can see the runway down there. So we'll go flying low along the waterline in a few minutes, which will be good fun. So that's where we're going. So our immediate concern is to lose some speed before we turn in, so we can drop the flaps. Okay.
Bank angle.
We'll do the same as before. Just circle to descend and straighten up for the runway.
Bank angle. Bank angle. Bank angle. Bank angle. Bank angle. Bank angle. Bank angle.
Okay, that's probably enough.
Sink rate. Sink rate. 500. Sink rate.
This is a bit of a dangerous one, isn't it? Descending through the tree line.
Minimums. Minimums. 100. Sink rate. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Look at the takeoff performance of this thing. It's nuts, isn't it? It's like going in an elevator. So we're just basically keeping the nose fairly level now and reducing the flaps. So turning vertical lift into airspeed slowly as we release the flaps. Okay, flaps up. let's go fly along the beach.
Banking. Banking. Don't sink.
I guess the answer with these joysticks is I need to get some rudder pedals at some point, rather than using the twist on the joystick. Because it's a common problem, lots and lots of joysticks, if they use the twist for the rudder, aeroplanes that are more susceptible to the rudder, you can see it twitching.
Too low. Terrain.
It would be better to have a decent set of rudder pedals.
500. Too low. Terrain. Too low. Terrain.
And then just switch off the axis.
Too low. Terrain. 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 Pull up. 500. Pull up.
I wonder if there's any way of switching off the safety systems. I guess we could turn the avionics off.
Too low. Terrain. Too low. Terrain. Too low. Terrain. Letterbox. Letterbox. Too low. Terrain.
That voice is really going to get on our nerves, isn't it?
Too low. Terrain. Too low. Terrain.
Maybe if we go outside we won't be able to hear it. Well, there's an idea. Now, we should be able to dip the tyres in the water. It's pretty calm, isn't it, the water, so let's have a go at it. We just need to descend a little bit. The faster the better, so we don't run out of speed when the friction kicks in from the tyres on the water. There's our reflection. There we go. Which other one? Are we talking? Hi Ariel, are you talking about the? This is the Twin Otter aircraft. It's from Aerosoft. It costs about 30 UK pounds, which is what probably about 30 euros, which is I guess it's around about $30 these days, isn't it? They're all pretty much similar to each other. Yeah, the Twin Otter is a famous aircraft. It's a bit manual, there's not much electronics going on. But it flies very well and it's very good for short field takeoffs and landings. You can see it's got a whacking great tail on it. A lot of skydiving teams use them. It's used for cargo all over the world. going to get annoying, isn't it?
Too low. Terrain.
I wonder if we go to the drone camera and move it around. Oh, there's our shadow down there. Oops. It'd help if I could control this thing, wouldn't it? Should we chase our shadow to the floor? Oh, of course we can't control it easily with the drone camera. We can do it from the outside view though. I don't want to hit anything, so I'm just getting a fairly straight patch before we play silly games with coming to meet our shadow. So yeah, the Twin Otter is pretty cool. You can see reviews of it all over YouTube and the internet. I don't tend to review aeroplanes because everybody else is doing that, and it would be a bit silly. Okay, let's climb away so we don't get those warnings all the time. So yeah, it's a pretty high fidelity aeroplane. Probably half the switches work, which is, you know, better than the Microsoft Flight Simulator stock aircraft. The sound is not great at the moment, but it's, you know, it's better than a lot of others. You can see the modelling is actually really good. It's steam gauges, so, you know, no glass cockpit on this one, although we do get a GPS system. But yeah, it's good fun. So let's see where we are in terms of the flight plan. Coming up to St Helens, where we're going to try and find the next airport. We've not been great at finding airports so far, or airfield I should say. It's been a bit of a struggle to find runways, hasn't it? So let's see where we've got left to go before we end for today. So we're going up to St Helens and then across the fields to Bubiala Airfield, then Bridport, and I think we'll stop today at Georgetown. Yeah, because it's a proper airfield. We'll be able to get some chocolate biscuits and coffee. And then later on in the week we'll maybe do another leg and then another leg back. So we'll do it over the course of several days. But today we'll try and get as far as Georgetown. I can never quite get over how efficiently Flight Simulator draws millions of trees. It's very good at it. And trees of lots of different types, with lots of branches and boughs and leaves. It's very, very clever. And they're not all the same either, though. You can see mixtures of trees, and even within the same areas, there's many shapes. Okay, we're just coming up to 2,000 feet above sea level. 150 knots. So the Twin Otter seems to like cruising at about 150 knots. It's very good. Let's go going to have a sneaky look and see if anybody has gone and followed me on Twitter then, following the posting of my Twitter name. Apparently not. I guess nobody does Twitter. If you go and look on Twitter, you get to see a picture of my daughter playing rugby, a load of my writing, cooking, all kinds of rubbish. It's pretty much, I don't really put a lot of effort into it. I use Twitter as somewhere to dump other things, to be honest. Right then, how are we doing on the flight plan? We're getting there. St Helens is the next airfield. That's interesting. I've just noticed something. There's a place called Grindelwald in Tasmania. Excellent. So, can we see this airfield from way up in the air? Probably not, because a lot of the airfields we've come past we haven't been able to make head or tail of. Okay, so let's pull the engines back and descend gently and fly this beach. Give us something to do, won't it? So obviously we've reduced the lift on the wing by slowing down, which caused the nose to drop. We accelerate downhill, more air flies over the wing, generate more lift, and the nose comes back up. We eventually stabilise into a descent of about 2,000 feet a minute at 50% throttle. Obviously I'm not going to let it continue, I am going to pull out. Let's go and have a look from the outside. There's our shadow again. Quite cool, isn't it? Let's have a look at this. Palm trees. Going to scare all the local residents to death. There's a glitch in the scenery. There's a step in the water. Just thinking, I was expecting to see maybe a few ships around, but I haven't seen anything yet. Or boats, maybe. I wonder if we'll see anything up at Georgetown, maybe. Okay, Okay, let's get the autopilot ready. Actually, no, we'll wait until we've done the touch and go at St Helens. So we're flying out at a slight angle and then we'll come back in for runway 26. So we're not going to get too high. We're going to start dumping speed now, so we don't have to circle to lose the speed.
Sink rate.
Okay, so we should see St Helens soon. Let's get the nose up. How are we doing? Okay, so it's over here in the trees somewhere. Flaps to 10 degrees. So I'm at full flaps now. We're just looking for the airfield and then we can smoothly turn in. Oh, it's actually quite big. It's the one that is over in the trees over there. You can see it easily. So we'll just smoothly continue on until we are lined up, and then we'll turn in and do our touch and go and continue on our way. Okay, we're getting there.
Sink rate. Sink rate. Sink rate.
I'm just playing games with descending quickly.
Hold up.
It's all fine, don't worry.
Hold up. Minimums. Minimums. 100. Hold up. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Yeah, the sounds are still a bit off in the Twin Otter, aren't they? focusing on airspeed before we clear the trees, and then retract the flaps completely. Okay, so what direction do we need to be going for the next leg? 310 degrees. So let's move the marker on the compass, and we have to roll the mouse forever to do that. Or just hold the mouse button down forever instead. Okay, so we can go for heading mode on the autopilot. We can go for altitude hold as well. So switch it on, altitude hold. We can increase the altitude we want to go to say 2.5. Oh no, that's the ADF. That's not trying to tune the altitude in on the ADF. That's going to be interesting, isn't it? So then we press vertical speed and we go for 1,000 feet a minute until we get to 3,000 feet. And we get this plane climbing out, pull the engines back to 80% and just cruise our way across the map. 310 degrees and we're off and running on a fairly long leg to Boubiala airfield. We can probably get a pretty good altitude plot on Little Nav Map. So give it a moment to draw it for us. There it comes. So on the way to Boubiala, yeah, so we need to be about 2,000 feet to clear any hills that we're going to see along the way. So 3,000 is fine. We could go for altitude hold mode at the height we're at. It should be good. We're going to have a scoot around the cockpit, see what we can see. There's the engine, just outside the door. You wouldn't want that to throw a blade, would you? It's going to come straight through the wall. Go and look at this side. That's pretty cool. And we're good to go for the next little while. Let's have a look at this plane. So if we go for the drone camera, zoom up in the air. And go a little bit fisheye with it. See some of the scenery along the way. There we go. I wonder if we move the camera to the other side of the aeroplane, if it will make it any better. Get the sun in the shot. What are my cruise power settings in the Otter? So I looked at the instructions basically, so I've got about 75% on the pitch and about 75% on the throttle. So that's it really. And it seems to be quite happy flying along 150 knots with, you know, no appreciable pressure on the engines or anything. So you can see if I go in, I can go and push forwards quite a bit, and you can see the torque pressure goes through the roof. But if I pull it back, then yeah, it's quite fuel efficient and it will fly forever and a day. And about 75% on both power and pitch. So hopefully that answers your question, William. Okay, so how are we doing on our journey? Boobyalla Airfield. Hopefully we get to find this one. It's going to be actually a relief to see a paved runway, isn't it? All we've seen so far has been grass runways all the way. Ever since we left Launceston. So at least we got Georgetown in view now. Almost tempting to fly back down the river and land at Launceston to end today, and then take off again from there for the next leg of the trip another day. But no, I think we'll leave it at Georgetown. Okay, let's go and have a look and see what's happening with the airplane. There are hills in front of us and there is cloud. Is not a great combination. So let's go and take ourselves up to 3,500 feet. We'll do it at 1,000 feet a minute. Just to avoid these hills. So the beep you can hear is the autopilot getting within 1,000 feet of the target altitude. So as it came through 2,500 feet, it beeped to tell us we're approaching 3,500 feet. I wonder if the clock has got local time mode. No, that just flicks between stopwatch and UTC. That's the date and the time. Oh, that's a shame. So it might have local time on it as well. So obviously, although it's 9:30 in the evening in the UK, where I'm filming this, in Australia is early in the morning. Or should I say in Tasmania, it's early in the morning. Okay, so we are approaching Boobyalla Airfield. We've got 10 knots from the east, so we're going to be landing runway 10. So if we fly kind of right circuit in, then we get to spot the approach before we turn in, which will be really useful actually. So we're about 7 miles out, something like that. Just coming over the top of these hills. Take the autopilot off. cut the engine back to 50%, so the plane will naturally start descending on its own. And we'll start trying to spot the airfield. So it's somewhere over there. If we look at the pattern, oh, this doesn't give us the pattern of trees, unfortunately. Just wonder if there are any other features we can use as a guide. So we're going to cross a road, and there is this river that begins just before it, but that may be covered by the trees. So there's the road. So it's somewhere over there in the trees, I think. So we'll stay fairly high for the moment. We can always circle. There's our shadow again. Okay. So let's just have a quick look at the map. So it's going to be over here somewhere. So let's go and scoot across the cockpit. Can we see it? Is it anything more than just a patch of mowed grass, which we have seen elsewhere? It's directly off our wing now. So is it just this down here? There it is. Pretty certain that's it. We'll circle round, or maybe there. There's a dried patch. Oh no, here it is. It's funny, isn't it, looking for grass strips? You never quite know what you're looking for. It's that. It's where the ground has been worn away. Obviously there used to be a runway here, look, and it's been overgrown. Hang on a second.
You can't open your door because someone shot Casper in your room and I opened the door.
Okay, I'll be back in a moment.
He's out.
Oh, you've let him out?
Yeah, but you need to open.
Yeah, I'll go and bust the door in a minute. Okay. Minor drama at home. The cat managed to shut itself in a bedroom and then of course lifted the carpet up and destroyed the door and the carpet. Fairly normal. Okay, so we're going to turn. So we're looking to lose speed all the time. And of course the cloud rolls in at exactly the wrong moment, but it's not going to be too thick, hopefully. Now we can't see past our own windows.
Bank angle. Bank angle. Bank angle. Sink rate.
Okay, got loads of room to line up. So we're chugging along, we're on 50% power. We're going to go for 20% flaps. Whoa! Or 20 degree, I should say. It's difficult to tell if this is joystick glitching or turbulence, because the wind is starting to get up gently. Okay, 235 degrees on the autopilot. So let's do a Spitfire style turn.
Bank angle. Bank angle. Bank angle.
And get the autopilot on, and then I go and try and solve this family drama that's going on in another room.
Bank angle.
We need to move the heading bug, and I can't actually see where the heading bug is because the tooltip for it is covering it. Okay, so heading mode is on, go for it and go for altitude mode. And we should be good. So pull the throttle back to cruise, and I'll be back in a couple of minutes. Just leave this on outside view while we're flying along so you get to see some scenery. Okay, back again. Yes, the cat has now been extricated from the bedroom. The bedroom door is partially destroyed, the carpet is partially destroyed. Typical story really. One of the other cats did it. We got two cats. One did it last night, another one did it tonight. Hide in the bedroom, they get shut in, and then they set about destroying the carpet and the door. And of course, to open the door you have to destroy it much further. Anyway. At least you get some colour, I think you would call it, wouldn't you? Daily life humdrum rubbish on this channel. None of the sponsor rubbish that you get on other YouTube channels where people are trying to sell t-shirts and whatever. All I tell you is horror stories about what the cat's done today. Okay, how are we doing on this journey? Bridport Airport, 12 knots from the east. So we're coming in runway 10. And it's another grass strip, and there are no markings anywhere near it, so I imagine we're just going to be looking for a piece of mowed grass again. Oh, it's going to be such a relief to get to Georgetown, isn't it? I might go and carry on down to Launceston, because we didn't get a proper look at it before. It would be good fun to fly along this river and go and visit it properly, and end the flight at Launceston for tonight, and then do another leg, another segment, shall we say, of Tasmania another evening. So yeah, we'll pass through Georgetown, we'll go land at Launceston. Okay, so let's just get an idea of what's happening at Bridport. So by the time we cross the land on the other side of the bay, we should be able to look left and see the airfield just before that. So we're heading for this spit of land. We should see the runway over there. With a bit of luck. Lots of trees whistling past. So yeah, we should be able to, as soon as we make landfall, start our left turn and start heading towards the airport, or the airfield. Or, it's a bit extravagant calling it an airfield, isn't it? A mowed stretch of grass. Climb a little bit. I've gone to manual control now. Just coming up to 1500 feet. And the rudder is glitching, even though I've set a massive null zone on it. Unbelievable. Thrustmaster joysticks. They all suffer from the same problem. Every single model of joystick they make has the same problem. Okay, so we're getting to the point where we should, over our left wing. Is that the airstrip? I think it is. Okay. So I've cut the engine. .10-degree flaps.
brake.
Minimums. Minimums.
Seat brake.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
And we climb back out again. So we're getting a bit routine, isn't it? Okay, 248 degrees, so turn low over the trees and keep turning until we get to 248. And we can pretty much follow the coast now to get to Georgetown. That is terrible. Look, all I have to do is touch the joystick and it glitches all over the place. That was about a 30-degree. Oh my word. If I even breathe on it, it glitches. The strange thing is, if you wrench it around, it obviously cleans the sensor to an extent, and then it's fine, look. It's really frustrating. Maybe I need to put some more WD-40 in it. Because I only put a tiny amount in. Because I was worried about putting too much in. Maybe I need to put a load in. Just swamp it. Or save up the pennies and buy some rudder pedals. And then not ever use the twist of the joystick ever again. Well, not for this purpose anyway. Appear to have climbed into cloud. That was rather not very clever of us. So we'll let the plane descend slowly. This is going to be such a novelty to land on a proper runway for the next one. So we're just passing Weymouth, which is interesting. What's up ahead of us over here is this inlet here. I was going to say Weymouth is the name of a seaside town on the south coast of the UK. I spent many childhood summers sitting on the beach at Weymouth when I was little.
Terrain.
Yes, I know there's terrain. It generally is below the aeroplane. You don't have to keep reminding me. Okay, so Georgetown, we will fly around it and I am going to cut this flight short at Georgetown this evening. I'm not going to fly all the way down into Launceston. So then we'll continue on another evening to carry on around the rest of the journey. So the next leg will probably be Georgetown to Queenstown, doing the journey around the airfields, and then the final leg another evening will be Queenstown down to Hobart. It carries on past Hobart actually, it goes through Cambridge and then does a lap of the islands before coming into Hobart. I'll share the flight plan on virtualflight.online. So if anybody's not seen that website or Discord server, I'm the founder basically. I made Virtual Flight Online so I could go flying with friends.
Too low. Terrain.
Just
Terrain.
going to trim us up a little bit.
Too low. Terrain.
So yeah, Virtual Flight Online, there's a Discord server, there's channels for things like flight plans and invitations to go flying. There's something like 600 members. It's probably more than that by now, I've not counted recently. We have regular flights on a Sunday evening where we have a flight plan that we all follow somewhere in the world. It's usually pretty good fun. We deliberately keep it casual and light-hearted. It's not a serious flight like some of the virtual airlines do. It's just a group of friends meeting up online to go and fly a route together and to catch up with each other along the way. So yeah, head to virtualflights.online on the internet and you'll see the instructions and a description of what we do. Okay, so when we get to Georgetown we're going to have to fly into the opposite runway than our approach because of the wind. If you look on little nav map, the wind is from the east at 8 knots. So it's kind of, you know, it's on the limit of being able to land with that. Certainly not with a small aircraft. You could get away with it maybe with an A320 or a 737, but not with this. Okay, so we're about 10 miles out, something like that. So we'll overfly Georgetown and then turn around and come back and land on runway 6. Should be good. We should see Georgetown pass below us fairly soon. Just going to turn slightly. cut the engine back to 50%, which will cause us to descend gently and lose some speed. So there's the town ahead of us. If we look down, if we go and scoot across to the front of the aircraft, you can see the airfield in the trees down there. So we're slowing down and we'll double back over the town. And do a full stop landing at Georgetown. So we can go and scoot over to the window and see the airfield below. Notice we have trees on approach again. Okay, let's get ready. So we cut the throttles, hold the nose up to get rid of some speed. At 100 knots we can go for 10%, or sorry, 10 degrees on the flaps, which we're now doing, and we tip it in for the turn. The sounds are terrible on this aircraft, aren't they? Leaves quite a lot to be desired, really. So we go for 20 degrees now on the flaps. That's interesting. The lines aren't straight on the runway.
Sink rate.
Minimums.
So do we follow the lines, or do we just follow the surface?
50, 30, 20, 10.
Lift the flaps. So he wants to go over there, do they? Is that the guy with the... Let's go and do a turn around then. Oh, is that the airport security? I want to know where I'm from. What I'm doing here. What the nature of my visit is. Oh no, it's a generator truck. That's it. Okay, we survived. So we're going to scoot across and we're going to find out that the bug in Flight Sim had made the mouse vanish. And now we can't click the levers. Going to feather the propellers, cut the fuel to them, and basically reverse what we did earlier. Switches. Let's get in the normal position so we can make some sense of this. And there we go, cold and dark, and we can get out and go and get a sandwich and a cup of tea at the non-existent shop at the airfield. So this was the Twin Otter in Flight Simulator. It's a pretty cool aeroplane. Get a memorable photograph to save for another day. And I will be doing another leg another evening when I get some time to do it. Okay, I'll stop recording there. See you soon.